I'm Nana, and broadcasting from Nana's Place on Twitch TV. So, a couple things came up recently in some of the discussions that we had, and I wanted to, kind of zero in on them and expand upon stuff that I've been discovering since then. Now, we're calling this episode the spiritual side of TTT. And if you've seen any of my previous expoundings or rantings and ravings, you know that that's very much a part of who I am and what I believe in. But I'm still learning, still growing, still figuring things out. So what I wanted to share was, okay, there's been different trains of thought going on recently that I want to share and see if anyone else has encountered this or experienced this or has any knowledge that they want to share. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. Recently, I had I was using the microwave, and I live in Ohio, northern Ohio, near Cleveland. And I go to put something in the microwave, and there's something on the door, and you know how it takes you a second to, at least it does me, comprehend what it is that you're seeing. You know, it could be a smudge, it could be a smear, it could be a piece of food. Well, it happened to be a grasshopper. A grasshopper in my kitchen on the microwave door. So I catch it, I try to catch it because I let things outside. I don't usually kill them. It startled me, and once I figured out what it was, I went to catch it. Well, those things are fast, and they hop, and it kept hopping out of my hand, and then it hopped, and I couldn't figure out where it went. So I looked, and I looked, because, it's not going to find much food inside. So I went, well, okay, I hope you'll find your way outside again. So I go back to what I was doing, reaching for the microwave to open the door to put something in it, and guess where the grasshopper is? Right there on the edge of the microwave. So I managed to double-hand it, catch it, and got it outside. And I went, well, okay, I know there's a message here. And I know that grasshopper, one of the messages is leaping, take a leap of faith. So I went, okay, I'm going to look this up. Well, a couple days ago, I was getting ready to go somewhere. I started to pull out of the driveway. I noticed that there were packages on the front doorstep, so I stopped. I got those out. Well, in the process, picked those up to put them in the car. I had already said goodbye to Sahara, so I didn't want to disturb her again. So on the way to the my front porch, I discovered that there was a dead squirrel in my yard. Well, that saddened me. I enjoy watching them run around, and I'm going, well, whatever is this about? It felt like another message to me. Dead animals can be bringing you a message. God will use anything to get your attention and talk to you and open a conversation and use your angels, your totems, your guides, whatever. He's going like this, and you're not paying attention, and so they'll use God, and the Holy Spirit will use many different avenues to speak with you. So I went, okay, I need to look this up. Well, I hadn't looked it up until after this episode with the grasshopper. And I know part of squirrel's medicine is the gathering, the storing away. So that's what immediately came to mind, just because of prior experience. So I sat down and I looked them both up. And basically that's what it said. But in addition with the squirrel, a lot of it has to do with balance. There's balancing work and play. So with the grasshopper, it was, taking a leap of faith. You do things your way. Just because it worked for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you got to find your niche. You got to find your path. You got to find your rhythm. You got to learn to trust your instincts. Trust your gut. I can't tell you how many times I didn't trust my gut, and it ended up not so good. I just noticed that my image went funky, so, well, that light is green, so I guess everything's okay. So sorry if I'm buffering and doing strange things. Anyway, so that's an important thing to start to pay attention to. I have on occasion, for instance, when we lived in a different place, the front door, we didn't have a screen door, we had a storm door. And we would have the front door open and just the storm door. Well, we had a part Great Pyrenees and Chow dog who took offense at anything or anyone coming anywhere near that front door. And he would throw himself at it. Well, I kept saying, we got to get a different door, you know, one with maybe the bars on it, because he's going to go right through that storm door, the glass of the storm door. And every time he would throw himself at it, that feeling got stronger and stronger and stronger. Okay, now part of it can be, well, you know, that's common sense. You know, if you throw yourself at something often enough, something's going to break. But it was a stronger sense than that for me. My spidey senses were going off. So what happened was, I happened to be sitting on the couch. I happened to notice someone approaching the front door. And I knew that Riley was real close to that front door, and I knew exactly what he was going to do. But even then, I don't know how I managed to get there where he hit the door, came down on the broken glass, but I was there to catch him before he could cut himself. Meanwhile, the kid who was coming up on the front door jumped backwards onto there. We have, I think there were 3 steps to up to the front porch. He was on the sidewalk. Boom, he was like that, and white as a ghost. Once I got Riley taken care of and out of the way, I checked with him and made sure that, you know, he was okay, and, you know, apologized to him, of course. So that was, nobody would listen to me when I kept saying, we got to do something. It happened to me another time. The kids were little. One of the oldest one was playing baseball, Little League, and we were sitting on the sidelines, but we were awful close. And I kept seeing, to me it was like whoever was at bat, you know, a foul ball was going to come right at us. And I kept saying, we need to move, we need to move, we need to move. And my husband at the time, you know, we're fine, we're fine. Again, I'm saying this, and he turns, because I was kind of sitting behind him, and he turns and looks at me and says, we're fine, and he reaches up and catches a ball that was being thrown from the outfield in. And if he hadn't done that, that's exactly where the head of my son was. And afterwards he says, I don't remember even doing that. So that was a guardian angel. Whether it was Joe's guardian angel or one of ours, I don't know. But an angel did that. An angel moved his hand and put it there. So, like I said, you know, there are occasions where I have paid attention to that inner voice, that inner gut feeling, but there's other times where I don't listen to it unless it is so very strong. Basically, Spirit has to yell at me to catch my attention. Hi, Plumbus? Hi, Plumbus. Have you had any kind of experiences like that? But that's what Grasshopper and Squirrel were teaching me. That inner sense, that you know, that sense where you know, without actually seeing evidence of why you would feel this way. But that was 2 incidences of that. learning to trust your instincts. We tend to have things shown to us in black and white first before we believe anything. But that's part of what Spirit is teaching us, is to trust that inner voice, the third eye, you know, whatever you tend to want to call it. So, it's all part of a learning curve, part of a learning process. So, because of those two incidences, you know, I checked into the medicine of them, which is the spirit of them. I use animal speak in part of my determining what different things mean. So when I encounter something strange or something's unusual, like one day, not too long ago, there was a blue heron comes right across my backyard flying. And I swear it would have run right into the roof. It was flying that low. That's never happened before. So, okay, there must be some kind of message here. And blue herons a lot mean self-assurance, especially with women. A lot of times women don't empower themselves, don't see themselves as a strong being and stuff. So when unusual things like that happen, you know, I try to figure out, you know, what's going on, what it's all about. So between the squirrel and the grasshopper, it was like, oh, okay, you know, got to start paying attention to this again. Also, not too long ago, there was I was wearing my spy hat, only it was the pink one. This is my official Sojourn Paranormal Investigations. Was the name that I came up with, and spy for short. So I was wearing the pink one on the episode with when Buckeye went off to college. It was his last episode with me for now. And we were talking about the different programs and how I got into it and what I do. Well, because I haven't been active in it for quite a while, terminology was just, I couldn't remember anything of what I usually know, or used to know. I have forgotten more than I know now. And one of the programs that really started getting me into it was the Ghost Hunters, with Grant Wilson and Jason Hawes. I forget how many years that was on. But they've all eventually, you know, the core group has all eventually spread out and gone on to other things. Well, I recently came across, I had recorded something on A&E and saw the advertisement for the new Ghost Hunters series with, what's his name again? Grant Wilson. He has a new team, and they're doing new investigations. So that caught my attention because you know, all of this had come up. And they were showing all, you know, stuff from the original series and the equipment they used. And one of the things I couldn't remember was when you do recordings and you play it back and you hear a voice. Well, that's an EVP, electronic voice phenomena. I wrote it down in case I forgot again. And they were showing some of the equipment they use now that is just, you know, the industry, if you want to call it that. Because their show sparked so much interest, then there was a lot of innovation and creativity going on in the equipment that they use. So, you know, they can see some of the cameras and stuff, you know, the thermal ones, you know, you can tell when something's there that you can't see with your naked eye, but you can see it there in that. And that's how a lot of things are being checked into and explored. So that got me thinking along the spirit lines again. And I have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, and the chronic fatigue is what's really the worst for me. It's kind of a compounded because that's one of the symptoms of fibromyalgia as well. And you tend to go through cycles, and I'm coming out of probably a 3-year slump. Doesn't mean I get better. Well, I get better to a degree, but it never goes away. So I'm kind of coming out of that slump and getting back into looking into these things. Plus, I have a wolf deck that I'm working on updating and eventually getting it published. And these are the old cards of them. But someday, they won't quite look like that. I'm working on because I'm doing it, unless I get the money together somehow to do it in a different way. It's going to be more like this. I don't even know you can see that. Wrong way. Yeah. That'll be the back of the card. So anyway, I'm working on that, and eventually I want to do readings like this live. But I think everybody needs to start tuning into the spirit side. We're body, mind, and spirit. And too often, we focus only on the physical. And, there's nothing wrong with being aware of what's going on physically, but sometimes we get tunnel vision. So, in my mind, you also need to pay attention to your mental health, and taking it one more step, your spiritual health. Whether you pray, whether you recognize there's something, a universal type thing, but you need to start paying attention to it. That's what I think, because there's 3 aspects to our being. I hear a kitty cat. Don't be surprised if... Yep, there she is. This is my cat Boots. Well, come on. Come on. Are you going to get comfortable? You are? Well, that's good. Okay, you get comfortable. We're talking spiritual stuff here. Cat energy. Offhand, I don't remember what cat energy is. In some of my totems is cats. I have, and I don't know, maybe I need to pay more. It's the nurturing, and it's the sensual side, and it's the, well, talking about being in touch physically. Excuse me, my grandson Buckeye, he's got a lot of cat energy, and he was here one night, and he says he just loves to stretch, and he's doing all this stretching, and he says, I just love to stretch. And I says, well, that's the cat in you. And he looked at me. He went, oh, okay. Because if you ever see a cat, they get up, first thing they do is stretch. That's probably something I should be doing more of myself, because that helps with the muscle fatigue that fibromyalgia is, because your muscles don't relax on their own. In a normal person, they contract and relax, contract and relax. Well, someone with fibro, they contract, but they don't quite relax. And the severe ones, your muscles need to relax to release some kind of chemical. And when they don't, then all that chemical is in you. That's the best way I can describe it. So, anyway, there's a lot about cat I need to know, because I'm very much into dogs, canines, wolves. Some of my younger childhood days I spent in Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of Pennsylvanian type accent that I have. So anyway, So I wanted to touch base on the ghost hunter type stuff. I also wanted to share that I was on YouTube one night, and I'm watching the normal stuff that I watch on YouTube. And then I saw on the, you know, how they have a whole list that's shows what's going to be next. And in that list was someone who said what heaven was like when I died. And I went, well, that sounds interesting. The near-death experiences, I think that's what they call it. Terminology is not my thing anymore. But, you know, the people who have technically died and been brought back to life or come back, in the case of this gentleman, he came back on his own. He had been detached from the jewels, the things that shock your heart. They'd already tried that, and it was like 30 seconds later when he came back, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on in those 30 seconds on the spirit side. So his name is Nathan Wheeler, and his YouTube site is Truth Me Free. And this was like the second episode, and then he went on to do like 8 or more, and it's evolved into even more stuff on the spiritual side. So I was like, okay, what did you see? What did you feel? What did you experience? And that's a curiosity of mine. I believe so. I believe there is something after we die. Some people have those near-death experiences, or whatever you call them, and it's horrendous, and it's like a wake-up call, because there is the good and the bad, and you need to be prepared. So I found it interesting how he described what went on. And I don't know if a lot of things go through your perception, so you're not sure. There's nothing set in concrete, is what I'm trying to say, because it does go through their perceptions and their interpretations, I think. I haven't seen her in like 5 years maybe. I have gone to a lady who communicates through angels. The angels tell her things, you know, when you go get a reading done. And she's pretty spot on. So, you know, I do believe in that. When I do readings, I know I'm getting some information. I know I'm being told something. I'm perceiving something that will benefit the person I'm doing the reading for. My wolf deck is all about the cycles that we go through. Life is just, you know, what cycle are you in? What do you need to learn? How do you, you know, what's coming up next? You know, that's basically what I work on. But then I also use other tarot cards, and going by what their boundaries and parameters are, you know, I can use that as a guideline for, okay, what am I sensing? What am I feeling? And then I share it. Now, I have predicted a death coming up in someone's family. I have predicted a pregnancy coming up in someone's family. I have pinpointed some horrible abuse in someone's family, and I don't go into detail. If the person understands what I'm talking about, that's all I need to know. I don't need to know specifics. I just need to know you're getting the message. And that's what readings are, is conveying a message to that person. There's something that Spirit is trying to tell that person, or reassure that person, or, you know, whatever the situation might be. And if I'm not mistaken, even psychics and mediums and spiritualists, they see someone because they need someone who's objective and isn't going to be coloring and slanting what's coming through, because, you know, this is what I want it to be, you know. Oh, well, that's going to mean this because that's really what I want to happen. And, you know, that's tricky. So you, in order to be objective, you got to go to other people. So anyway, I watched that one episode, and I subscribed. I hit the like and subscribed so that I can go back and watch some of the other episodes that preceded this, and then continue from there and watch the new stuff. I guess this was like about 5 years ago, and he has continued to make other videos. Well, because I did that, I saw my sister today. I helped her with, her car was in the shop, so she needed me to come, you know, get her from the shop because it was supposedly take all day. So we did a few things, but in the course of the conversation, she starts talking about this, I don't know if her first name is Sloan or last name, but it's Sloan Bella Sloan, and she had watched a few of hers, and she has actually spoken with celebrities who have crossed over, and they come to her. She's not seeking them out. They're just suddenly there. And she has found that interesting. So when she, out of the blue, she says, I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I brought that up. Then that's another indication, okay, somebody whispered in her ear, put that in her head to talk to me. To me, it was a message to do the spiritual stuff, to expand upon the spiritual stuff, to pursue what I'm pursuing. It also meant to me the grasshopper, going back to the grasshopper and taking a leap of faith. I have been contemplating opening an online store. I get frustrated. I'm a larger size person, getting larger all the time, but you go to buy things online, and you even check with the sizing guides that they have. I gotta move stuff because she's you're gonna knock over my stuff, kitty cat. Thank you. Because there's a window right here, so she likes that. You go to buy stuff, and you even check the sizing thing, and you get it. You order it according to what it says, and you get it, and it ain't that. It's always too small, especially for us larger size people. But even for people who, you know, are size 7, 8, 9, you can. It doesn't take much for it to be needing a larger size. You know, they cut it just a little bit too much. And matter of fact, my sister was saying that she's heard, seen, read about how manufacturers are cutting things closer and closer in, and so the sizes are coming up tighter and tighter because they're trying to save money, and that infuriates me. It's like, okay, instead of a $10 billion profit, they want a $20 billion profit. It's a profit, for crying out loud. It's greed. It's greed. A little bit isn't enough. As far as I'm concerned, with a company, if you're, you know, after you deduct your expenses, you deduct the money you want to put back into the situation, back into the company. Are you trying to get down or what? Huh? Yeah, you stood on something, didn't you? Okay. You know, and then whatever is left over, that's your profit. That's awesome. But instead of being happy with the $2,000 profit, they want $1 million profit. So they cut corners here and they cut corners there, and it's usually at the worker's expense. Oh well, that's another whole rant. But that infuriates me. So because of how often, you know, I'll buy stuff online because I'll look at it and I'll go, oh, I like that. And yeah, you have to adjust for, you know, it's going to be a bigger size. And, you know, I don't have that body shape anymore. I had it once for about 5 minutes. You know, I get so frustrated how often the sizes are wrong because they're going by European sizes or Asian sizes or whatever, and those people are really tiny. So, you know, I'm getting a 5X in order for it to fit an 18 or 1X person, or 20, you know, depending. So one of the reasons why I want to open my own store, online store, is to promote Made in America, Made in USA stuff. Yeah, it's going to cost maybe $5 more, but you're helping pay for someone to live here, something to be made here. You're encouraging your own community market, and you're getting sizes that are accurate. So accurate sizing, made in the USA, and patriotic, you know, flag waving stuff. I'm a flag waver. Yes, we have problems. Yes, we're not perfect, a perfect society. But my God, we have it so good here. And so many don't even recognize that. They stand there and they gripe and they moan and groan and complain. Do you know if you did that in another place, you'd be in jail or dead? And they have no concept of that, because it's not being taught. The different cultures are not being taught in school. The different experiences, the different reasons why we've had wars. Our history is not being taught. There's more about Madonna in the history books than there is about the Constitution. And we wonder why these kids have no clue. And this has gradually been infiltrating for probably the last at least 30 years. And that's another rant and rave I could go on, but I won't. So, because I'm on disability, because I have a very limited income, you know, I thought, well, maybe this would work for me. One of the family members here has been going in that route. And so I was picking his brain about it and seeing what all I would have to do and how much it's going to cost me and, you know, this, that, and the other, and how it works. So if I was able to do that and make $50 a month, that would be such a blessing. That would be a huge blessing. 200 would be even better. But I'm not looking to be a multimillionaire. I'm just looking to improve my circumstances. And if God blesses it and deems that, okay, we're going to do this, that's great. If I win the lottery in the meantime, that's great. I'm still going to do this, because for other consumers who are feeling the same way that I do, that, you know, it's a crapshoot when you buy stuff online. And my company will be promoting Made in the USA. There will be some things probably that I won't be able to get that way, but that's the intent. The intent is accurate sizing and Made in the USA, and flag waving, you know, flags on a t-shirt, your mugs, you know, stuff like that. And of course a lot of nature stuff, a lot of wolves and things like that. So anyway, the grasshopper taking a leap of faith, you know, this is not what everybody's doing. This is not the normal way to do it. But that was part of grasshopper medicine, and so I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see what happens. So anyway, that's about all I was going to talk about today. If anybody has anything they'd like me to address, you know, put it in the comments. And I'll address it on another time. I don't know if Plum is still around, but I'm glad you stopped by. Somebody else popped in and out again. So I appreciate it. I am trying to develop a routine of posting a little more often, and just seeing what's up. So this whole thing with a chat going on is new to me. My older episodes were, I record it, run off at the mouth about something and then say goodbye. So having anything else going on is, I'm still learning how to deal with that. So anyway, I hope you have a great day. I'm glad you stopped by. I'll get back in the habit of having a cup of tea, so it's more appropriate tea and talk time. But that takes a lot of energy, and I'm still working around that one. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. If there's anything you want to discuss, put it in the comments. But until the next time we get together, you take care, and God bless.